Web3 TV.
Hello and welcome to Web3 TV. I'm Lisa Amnegard, and today we're at Dubai AI Festival here in Dubai, where we'll be exploring everything that's happening in the AI industry right now. Joining me right now is Dr. Shahram Maralani, Managing Director of Nemko Digital. So thank you so much for joining me today.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And you've flown all the way from the Netherlands to be here today. So tell me a little bit how tell me a little bit more how you're finding it so far.
It has been great. We started on Monday. As you know, the AI Festival is part of the AI Week in Dubai. Then there are various programs and themes that are being organized this week. We have been finding it quite inspiring and great to be here.
In Dubai itself, do you find it very inspiring when it comes to AI?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, there are maybe 10, 15 cities in the world that you think they are really having special attention to the technology. And I believe AI is one of those. For sure, among, I would say, maybe top 5 cities that are paying a lot of attention to various parts. And what is interesting about Dubai, and maybe inspiring, is that they have a very multidimensional approach. It's not only about creating the technology base or investing in it. It is also about frameworks they are creating to support smaller and larger organizations, but also to help them navigate perhaps the challenges and regulations around the globe which are impacting those companies actually.
Which brings me to my next question, because that's kind of what Nemko Digital does. It's probably one of the areas of AI that most companies dread when it comes to compliance, trust, safety. So how important is it for companies today to invest and look at these things?
Yeah, I think in the one of the opening, I think the second opening speech was by Ministry of AI in the UAE, Dr. Al-Olama. And I think what he mentioned as the 2 points, I think the first one was really to the point. You can have a look at the technology based on the threats first, but you can also have a look as opportunities first. What is happening in Dubai and wider UAE is that they have a look at opportunity first, right? That's the approach they are having. And if you take that approach, you should look at the regulations as a way in order to protect businesses, but still ensure that the society is benefiting from the values that the technology can deliver. And AI is not anything different. I believe regulations and standards and other best practices should be there to serve the humanity, and also industries and societies which are part of the humanity we have built, right? And what we do at Nemko Digital is trying to translate those in a language which is more innovation focused than prevention, right? We have created various propositions, and we are helping both the public sector but also the industries and other organizations with maturing the way they are developing or deploying AI systems.
So what kind of benefits does Nemko Digital provide for companies? So can you give me some examples of products or tools that you guys offer?
Yeah, I mean, one of them is, for example, what I can mention is an AI maturity framework. An AI maturity framework, or any maturity framework, means that you put all the best practices and knowledge which are related in that subject into a framework which can have various components, like a knowledge piece where the companies working with us or organizations can learn about what are the best practices in managing AI systems. You can turn it into an assessment model. That's what we have done. We can assess companies to see what level of maturity do they have in various aspects of AI, for example, defining the value and business case, AI strategy, leadership, data privacy, cybersecurity, AI model and technology selection, and then later down the line, maybe monitoring and testing. And these are only some examples I have mentioned. The maturity model is a way for you to translate all these best practices and required components of full AI management into understandable components, and also something that across geographies you can utilize. Because one of the challenges both the public and private sector are facing is that every country now has a different way of approaching AI framework, which is maybe shown in decrees or regulations or the standards which are being developed. And this is making perhaps innovation a bit more difficult, because also if you look at the media, there is a lot of attention to the potential risks of AI, but risk awareness is partially right, but partially also because of lack of knowledge about how you can manage. Because there is no single technology you can find that there is no risk in it, right?
Exactly.
And that's what we are trying to do. In Nemko Digital, we are trying to translate into something that the companies can use or authorities can use to still let innovation flow with its own speed, but then have a framework to look at how professional and mature these AI systems are being developed or deployed in the organizations.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I think in many countries, I mean, we have the AI Act in the EU, which is very rigid, but many countries, they have frameworks, like you mentioned. So technically, a company doesn't really have to follow the framework, but what kind of, so why should companies follow these frameworks?
I think what you refer to is really a relevant point, and also something that we are hearing nowadays over the last few weeks or a couple of months, that there are discussions that if the regulations which are available in the world, including the one in Europe, is really helping the society. Because if you see the level of investments going into artificial intelligence in various parts of the world, starting only with very maybe strict way of regulating it is going to cause maybe it damages the competitiveness of various nations, right? This is not even at the level of companies or authorities. This will go at the level of nations. And I think even Europe has been understanding this. Then what we are trying to do is not to wait for governments, not to wait for companies, because our role is to help the world, right? We are a group which has been for 90 years helping to make the world a safer place. What we have done is to help the technology industry and electronics industry with a similar trust that they need, but we are not slowing down putting new products into your houses or in your car or anything. We are just ensuring that they are not exploding, right? And in AI, it's the same approach. I mean, you cannot stop the technology. The technology will be there. It will be embedded into every pieces of fabric of our society and businesses. The only thing is that you need to do it in a proper manner. And that's really the meaning of a maturity model, going away a bit from only attending the regulation or standards, but ensuring that the best practices which are relevant and sitting in those regulations and standards are available for the companies and authorities to assess themselves and find the gaps and define improvement opportunities.
And does complying with frameworks and, let's say, using some of the tools that you offer bring some monetary benefit? Because if we look at, to invest in safety, for example, or in an AI trust, that's a cost for the company. And we see companies like OpenAI and other major companies that they're spending 20% less on safety now. But by having a safer AI, wouldn't that, I don't know, make a business more profitable because people trust the AI? Because, I mean, I think that's a big issue here, that some people just don't trust the AI to give them data and information like your credit card details or something like that. So what kind of benefits from a monetary perspective does having a safe and trust AI have for a company?
Yeah. I think it is in various levels. I think for maybe a larger organization, it's all about their brand value and protecting their business. Because, I mean, regulations can be seen as a maybe showstopper or slower of innovation or go-to-market for new products that they are developing or software they are developing. But in the end, I mean, if you are not attending the best practice and if you are not having the systems right and in place, you may end up in incidents or accidents which are going to cause you either short-term or long-term damage. For some of the companies, it may even result in losing their business altogether, right? And that should be really the approach. You should have a very business-focused approach to understand the risk associated to your business. And in business, we know that we are already decades into way of looking into impact of your decisions as a management onto the society around you, onto your stakeholders, your suppliers, your customers, and so on. And if you have similar approach in AI, meaning that you do not look at only the impact on your direct maybe customers and your own bottom line and share prices and so on, but also look at the impact on your suppliers, the people around you, the ecosystem that you are supporting, then you have a responsible way of taking care of your systems, ensuring the safety. That is positively impacting your brand value and also what you are delivering and, of course, your bottom line. And then the society will benefit. I think one thing I always compare it with previous examples. If you remember, like maybe 50 years ago, there was no dominance of Microsoft and Apple, right? If you remove these two companies from the world, we cannot function anymore, right? Every system in the world is primarily the end station is a laptop or a desktop or some sort of device which is either powered by Microsoft's Windows or by Apple. I mean, we have also other operating systems, right? But these are really dominant. And if you wanted to scare people from these two systems that these are going to eat your data or whatever, today we were not in a position in the world with the productivity and digitalization we have in every aspect of our society, right? AI is the same. In 10 years, it's into everything. And if today people are trying to scare people, I think that's from lack of knowledge. The history of all the inventions has been showing this.
So basically, if you invest in safe AI, more business, more profits, more opportunities.
It's better that you do, because if you don't have no business in future, let alone a safe one.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you so much. How can people get more knowledge about or find your company and reach out to you if they want to know more?
Just Google Nemko Digital or ask OpenAI. You will find us for sure there. And also digital.nemko.com with the same name, Nemko Digital. On LinkedIn, you can find us.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and it was very insightful.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And we'll be bringing you more interviews. My name is Lisa Amnegard, and you're watching Web3 TV.
Web3.tv